Hey guys, so welcome to the continuation of the Cape Coast Castle. This story is a touching one. So please subscribe to the channel. This is the part 2. You guys will see the burial place of one of the slave master, and you guys also going to see the door of no return, guys. So subscribe, keep watching till the end.
The hole we saw when we were in the middle dungeon. So the British would worship in the church. In order for them to still see what is going on in the middle slave dungeon, they'll come and stand right here, then look at the African man in the middle slave dungeon. But today the children's library has been, the church has been transformed into a children's library. So this is not a children's library. There are many books in the library, but they are for children. Any questions, please? Now, we've not seen, there's one thing you've not seen. Have you seen a grave there? Have you seen a grave?
Yeah.
Have you? No. Have you gone there?
No.
No.
We need to know who's going to do it. Okay, let's come. Police are in there. Whose poles are in there? We don't know. If there are bones that belong to somebody, we should be lashing the hell out of them, pull him out, and give him some punches and put him
That's not part of it, eh? Oh.
Now, these are graves. These are rare graves. But there are 4 graves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the 3 graves they are for Europeans. This one is for an African. Okay. This African was not a slave. He was not in a dungeon. I said those who died there were trash in the And this was a privileged, a special African who worked for the British. In their eyes, they saw him as a special person. So when he died, they buried him with them. This is where the Europeans who died were buried. But when the Africans died, their bodies were trash in the ocean. This man is from this place. His name is Philip One.
Oh, okay.
But his father is called Obriko. His father was one of the black slave traders. The Africans who worked for the British. His father was one of them. So when this man was 11 years old, the church we saw took this man to England. He studied theology at the University of Oxford. He was the first African, the first black man to be ordained as an Anglican priest. So they brought him back here in the church as a black missionary. They used him to do their religion and education. Please, you join them in the middle. Their choice in the middle.
Philip.
Kwa. The name is Kweku, not Kwa. But the British call him Kwa. So Kweku became Kwa. He was born in 1741. He died in 1816 at the age of 75 years old.
Philip Kwaku.
All the 3 graves there,
Kweku was Kwaku.
was 50 years. 46, 36, 38. But he around that time he was able to eat. Let's see the other thing.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Lee.
Now this one, 1, 2, 3, are all for Europeans. The governor, his wife, and one of the British army officers. The governor is called George Maclean. Maclean became the governor here from 1830 to 1840.
It's a rich story, wow.
Now, Maclean was born in 1801. He died in his wife, Letitia Elizabeth Lane.
Letitia Elizabeth.
He came here to visit the husband. But 2 months after she arrived, she was found dead in the bed of the governor. We do not know what killed her, but the rumors around the castle was that she could have killed herself, because she saw the husband having an affair with the black woman. And some historians think it could be the black mistress of the husband who poisoned her. She died at the age of 36 years old. But the third grave is for one of the British Army officers. He's called C.B. Whitehead. We do not know what killed him. C.B. Whitehead.
Oh.
Now, C.B. Whitehead was one of the British Army officers. He died at the age of 38 in 1820. 46, 36, 38, 75. Let me take it to the female class.
Wow.
Grace.
Oops.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh.
The tunnel. In the middle dungeon, I made mention of the big tunnel. So this is the tunnel. The door of no return is right there.
Okay.
The British soldiers could have allowed the African men walk through this courtyard to the door of no return, but they were afraid. Imagine 1,000 African men walking through this courtyard, and about 20 of them got unchained. They could try to fight back. So they would rather chain them in the middle dungeon and force them through the tunnel. Now, this and that are not the exits. These are just security posts. The tunnel starts in the middle dungeon, where we saw the shrine, but because it got blocked off, so we can't see it. But it's slippery at the moment. I would have allowed you to see how the tunnel is, but let's go there. Let me show you the exit, please. This part is slippery. It's deep. If you fall in, problem.
Wow. Very deep. Wow. That's so scary. Like a hole.
Let's come in, please. Let's come in. We were supposed to be seeing the middle dungeon. We're in the tunnel. This is where the tunnel ends. We were supposed to be walking through like this to where we saw the shrine in the middle dungeon. There was a door right behind some of you, which we call the door of no return. But the original door was a very small door like this. The British soldiers would chain the African men, would bring them here, force them through this door, put them into the ships for shipment. And this door got blocked off because the sea waves were very violent. Okay. But after this door was sealed off because of the violence of the sea waves, this was still open. It was not walled up at the time. So that part became the exit. So from the middle dungeon, after this one was sealed off, they brought them through that exit. And that exit leads to the other door of no return, closer to the female dungeons. The reason why the tunnel was sealed off was because after the abolition in 1807, slavery was still going on. So the governor we just saw is called McLean. He blocked off the tunnel in 1834 to officially mark the abolition. I'm now taking you to the female part of the picture.
There you go. Yeah.
punishments here. And that's the dog monitor over there. Okay? Now, in each one of the female dams, these are the two female dams. In each one of them, it's 150. But this is the female punishment cell. Now, the British soldiers would go in there to force the woman, rape. Many African women resisted rape. This is where they were brought for punishment to take place. There was a door here, they locked them out. But for the women, they still gave them food and water. They still gave them a window. So for them, the idea of punishing them was not to kill them. It was to break them. For them, the punishment was more of a psychological warfare. The reason why they were not killing them was because they knew very well that it was the African women who produced and they could reproduce. So for them, they were there. It was only the amount of food and water that was given to them that was reduced. And right after that, they were taken back to the female families. But for the men, no windows, no food, no water. So men have started suffering from Adam and Eve's time.
God bless you on us.
Let's see the female families.
Got the bread. Is that a bat? That's a bat. Oh, this is so dark.
Now, these are the two female versions. Okay. Now, I think we all need your flashlights, please. Please come on.
That area is so little big. People. Small air coming. Small air coming. So we got 3 air. Little air is coming. Wow.
Now, can you see this place? This is the female band. Now, the other female band is supposed to see this one. 250 each one of them. Means they will pack and do. Now, the British soldiers will come here, they'll take the African women out there and break them. Many African women got pregnant here because of that. All the African women who were pregnant, were taken outside the castle. They gave them food and water, shelter, clothing items, and everything. But the children to whom the African women gave it to were light-skinned children. The light-skinned children were not slaves. Okay? The British will give them names like Johnson, Wilson, Peterson, Jackson, Harrison, Simpson. And this was done on purpose in order to Europeanize the identities of the light-skinned children. Remember the church we saw? The church was a school. That is where the light-skinned children were educated. Technically, it was not education. It was indoctrination. It was a way of making sure the light-skinned children grew up with the mindset of being superior to their dark-skinned brothers and sisters. So even amongst the Africans, there was this kind of segregation. Black skin, dark skin, and light skin Africans. Before what you're standing is the door for return. And the original door was a very small door. We call this door the door for return because this is where millions of Africans walked through and never came back to Africa. It is estimated that over 4 million West Africans were shipped off from Cape Coast Slave Castle alone. In West Africa, over 12 million West Africans were shipped. It is estimated that over 40% of the total population were shipped off by the Portuguese. The Portuguese, however, shipped off the Africans to Brazil. That is why Brazil has a very large population of African people. Today, we are all going to walk through the door. Millions of Africans walk through and never came back to Africa. But because it's too loud out there, this is what happened. The British would anchor the bigger slave ships very far away from here and bring smaller boats closer to the castle. We put the Africans onto the smaller boats, transfer them to the bigger slave ships for shipment. We call the journey the Middle Passage, and the journey took them 3 to 4 months. The Middle Passage was the most dangerous process our ancestors went through. Okay. Now the boats you see over there belong to the fishermen. These are not from the slave trade era. About 85% of the population are into fishing. This is what we do for a living.
Wow. Door of no return. So we are going through the door of no return now. But we are going to return. This is the door of no return.
Africans were coming through the Doctor Return. This was the exit of the British. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we just walked through the Dove Return. There's a difference between the Dove Return and the Dove Return. The Dove Return was initiated in 1998 during the first emancipation. And emancipation is a historical festival where the global African families come together to commemorate the abolition. In 1998, were skeletons of two people we call Samuel Carson and Madame Crystal. Samuel Carson is from New York, Madame Crystal is from Jamaica. They are part of the Africans in the diaspora who went through these atrocities. In 1998, their skeletons were exhumed from their graves and brought to Accra. And from Accra, they transferred them to a place called Abanzi. And from Abanzi, their skeletons were brought across the ocean through the door of return. Basically, it's a symbolic movement in order to urge the Africans in the diaspora to come back to where the ancestors were taken from. And after the skeletons of Samuel Carson and Madame Crystal were brought to this door, they reburied them at a place called Asin Manson Slave Riverside. Now, this is where I would like to end my presentation. Do not forget there are 3 slave castles in Ghana. Elmina Slave Castle, Osu Slave Castle, and Cape Coast Slave Castle. The Portuguese established Elmina Castle in 1482. It is the largest and the oldest slave castle. Osu Slave Castle was established by the Danes in 1661. And this is Cape Coast Slave Castle. Cape Coast Slave Castle was established by the British in 1664. But you know, slavery is still going on in so many different ways. As a people, let's come together, let's educate the next generation so we do not repeat the same mistakes. I do appreciate your cooperation. My name again is Tony. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
Thank you. 300 years plus to build this.
It's no small place.
Yeah.
Look at the thickness of the walls.
Yeah, yeah.
It's beautiful.
So a period of over 300 years. Any other questions? Okay. There are some books if you're interested in the books.
So those black things over there, what are those?
The cannons, we call them cannonballs.
Cannibals.
They place them in fire.
Okay.
Those were the ones we used.
So were they left here?
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, so they are real. Wow. So that's why they put them in? Those stuff? Thank you.